For today's headlines, Hoarder nations derail Philippine vaccination drive. More risk benefits for health workers apt. $339 new Delta variant cases reported. 12 Central Visayas schools up for in-person classes. Tesda warns fake certificates. Caloocan vaccination open on Sundays. Ten hurt in NGCP tower blast. United Nations Security Council to meet Thursday on North Korea. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and this is Tribune News on Q. Today is September 30, 2021 and these are the latest news this Thursday morning. Malacanang on Wednesday blamed COVID-19 vaccine hoarding for the country's poor ranking in a study that measures economy's resilience to the ongoing pandemic. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque said Bloomberg's COVID-19 report, which tagged the Philippines as the worst place to be amid the pandemic, did not surprise the Duterte administration due to challenges in the government's inoculation efforts. He said through a statement sent to media that they are not surprised that the Philippines, together with other Southeast Asian countries such as Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam, are at the bottom of the list, while countries which top the list are developed countries. The Philippines is a classic case in point where inoculation is highly dependent on the availability and stability of vaccine supplies, Roque added. The palace official noted that President Rodrigo Duterte had recently slammed affluent countries before the United Nations for supposedly depriving poor nations of life-saving jabs. Having said this, the Philippines on numerous occasions has advanced its position on the universal access to COVID-19 vaccines for the plain fact that the pandemic will not end unless the coronavirus is defeated everywhere through vaccination, Roque said. The Philippines, with a score of 40.2, ranked last among 53 countries based on Bloomberg's resilience indicators such as vaccination coverage, quality of healthcare services, the severity of lockdowns and restrictions, progress on restarting travel, and easing up border curbs, among others. It was one rank lower in the previous report published in June 2021, where the Philippines ranked 52 out of 53 countries. According to Bloomberg, the Philippines' drop to the bottom of the list reflects the challenges it has been facing from the onslaught of the Delta variant. Other Southeast Asian countries joined the Philippines at the bottom 5, Indonesia with a score of 52.4, Thailand with 47.6, Malaysia with 44.1, and Vietnam with 43.7. Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo is co-sponsoring a measure granting COVID-19 benefits and allowances to public and private health workers during the state of public health emergency. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to a considerable loss of human life worldwide. As we respond to this health crisis, we see every day the heroic contributions of our healthcare workers who are on the front lines of the pandemic response, Go said. As healthcare workers continue their life-saving work, Go said it is incumbent upon the government to show its gratitude by providing health workers allowances and benefits. The proposed measure provides a COVID-19 risk allowance in lieu of the special risk allowance, as well as active hazard duty pay, life insurance, meals, accommodations, and transportation allowance under Bayanihan 2. The allowance will be given for every month served depending on the risk exposure of the healthcare workers. Those deployed in low-risk areas shall be given 3,000 pesos per month, medium-risk area 6,000, and high-risk area 9,000 pesos. This system was proposed by the Department of Health and would allow the government to provide allowances to more healthcare workers. The Department of Health on Wednesday reported a total of 339 additional Delta variant cases, bringing the total caseload to 3,366. In a virtual media briefing, Health Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergire said out of the 748 samples that underwent genome sequencing, 339 or 45.9% turned out positive for the highly transmissible Delta variant. Vergire added that out of the 633 additional cases that turned positive for variants of concern, 186 are beta strains, 98 alpha, 9 are P.3, and 1 is a gamma. Overall, there are now a total of 2,920 beta variant cases in the country, followed by 2,559 alpha variant cases and 461 cases of P.3 variant. There are also a total of 3 gamma variant cases and 1 lambda variant. Among the 633 new cases, 609 are local cases, 17 are returning overseas Filipinos, and 7 are still being verified if local or returning overseas Filipinos, Vergire said. She added that of the additional cases, 616 are tagged as recovered, 10 are deaths, 5 are active cases, while 2 are still being verified. The DOH urged the public to adhere to minimum public health standards and voluntarily isolate if experiencing COVID-19 symptoms. The agency also encouraged the eligible population to get vaccinated to avoid severe COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths. So far, a total of 20,583,580 individuals are now fully vaccinated, and this is equivalent to 26.68% of the target population. Tribune News on Q will be back after these short reminders. We're back on Tribune News on Q. The Department of Education in Central Visayas, or DepEd 7, announced that 12 out of 52 public schools that are already prepped for face-to-face classes were given the green light to proceed. DepEd 7 Regional Director Salustiano Jimenez said both their agency and the Department of Health are continually updating and coordinating to finalize the resumption of face-to-face classes in selected educational institutions in the region. Jimenez said they made sure that these schools really came from low-risk areas, but nothing is final yet. There is continuing assessment considering the situation is very volatile. He added that out of the 28 schools from all over the country which they initially agreed to proceed with pilot in-person classes, 12 are from Central Visayas. However, Jimenez did not disclose the 12 schools pending official pronouncement from the central office. The combined enrollment in public and private basic education schools has reached to 2.4 million, higher than last school year's 2 million. And after the 13 September 2021 opening of classes, enrollment rose to almost 300,000 in just 2 weeks. The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority warned the public from scammers selling fake national certificates, or NC, on social media sites, stressing that the certificates are issued only at Tesda offices. Tesda Director General Isidro La Peña stressed that these certificates are issued by Tesda offices to qualified individuals who have passed assessment and are valid for 5 years. He added that the original NC is not for sale, as individuals who pass the competency assessment are entitled to it. This comes after the agency received reports that there are Facebook groups offering NC for different technical vocational courses for a certain amount of money, and fake NC are also being submitted to employers for job requirements. La Peña warned the public that employers can verify the authenticity of the NC and noted that the agency is coordinating with the authorities to crack down the illegal selling of NC. La Peña is urging the public to report if they know someone who sells NC via their hotline 8887-7777. Tesda prioritizes the integrity of its certification system and complies with the Philippine TVET competency assessment and certification system in certifying middle-level workers to ensure their productivity, quality, and global competitiveness. It also has a registry of certified workers available online, so one can check the pool of certified workers for certain occupations nationwide, which can be browsed on the Tesda website. In order for more people to get vaccinated, the Caloocan city government will also open their vaccination sites even on Sundays. According to Mayor Oka Malapitan, its goal is to give more opportunities to the people to get vaccinated, especially those who have work on weekdays. During his meeting with the barangay captains, they said the others can only get vaccinated on Sundays because they have work. Oka said that as long as someone is vaccinated and wants to be protected, they will open vaccinations even on Sundays. Ages 18 years and older can walk into any open vaccination site. No online appointment or vaccination pass is required. Just stay tuned to the city's official Facebook page for the daily vaccination schedule. According to the Caloocan Health Department, as of September 27, 1,523,863 vaccines have been rolled out in Caloocan. 843,444 of them were used for first dose vaccination, while 680,419 were used for the second dose. Tribune News on Q will be back. Stay with us.
It's time for the world to know. Outstanding Filipinos in America. The 11th Outstanding Filipinos in America Awards 2021. A salute to the heroes of coronavirus. Coming back live in person at the Carnegie Hall in New York City, home to the TOFA Awards since 2011.
Magpabakura kayo.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Magandang araw mga katribo! Narito na ang mga makakasama nyo tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Roy Pelovelo, Comfy Manalo, Chinky Mangkukang, Vernon Velasco, Kim Sancha at Chirk Balagtas. Abangan ang programang Gising Na mula alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga sa Facebook page ng Daily Tribune.
Ilabas ng mainit na kape at samahan kami sa inyong pag-almusal, mga katribo.
Sama-sama natin alamin ang mga natatagong istorya sa mga latest na kaganapan sa loob at labas ng bansa.
Simulan ang bawat umaga with good vibes sa mga informative and recreational segments dito sa ating programa.
Maaari niyo rin ibahagi sa amin ang inyong opinion via Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now sa YouTube.
Makichika na rin sa latest showbiz happenings mga katribo.
Kaya naman, magkita-kita po tayo mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng umaga at magsama-sama po tayo sa
Gising Na!
Magpabakura kayo.
We're back on Tribune News on Q. In other news, the military vowed to do everything it can to make those behind the recent bombing of a National Grid Corporation of the Philippines tower in Bodiposo, Buntong, Lanao del Sur pay for the damage and injuries they caused. Lieutenant Colonel Franco Rafael Alano, commander of the Army's 55th Infantry Battalion, assured this incident will not be forgotten and will exhaust every means they have until justice is served. The explosion, which occurred Tuesday morning at the tower in Barangay Tangkal, not only damaged the structure but also wounded 8 members of the 55th IB and 2 personnel of the NGCP, he said. Those injured were brought to the Amay Pakpak Medical Center in Marawi City. Of them, only 3 soldiers and the 2 NGCP personnel are in stable condition. Investigation indicated that the explosion occurred when one of the soldiers tripped over a vine connected to the pin of a grenade planted near the transmission tower, according to the Army's 1st Infantry Division. Soldiers were in the area to provide security to the NGCP linemen, who were conducting routine tower inspection and repair, Alano said. Staff members of the NGCP are frequently threatened and intimidated since some locals demand payment for tower maintenance activities in areas which they claim, likewise, transmission lines and towers are also being sabotaged by the locals, he said. Brigadier General Jose Maria Cuerpo, 103rd Infantry Brigade Commander, confirmed that NGCP transmission towers have been subjected to attacks. Explosives are usually attached to the tower to topple it down, but this time it was aimed to injure people, Cuerpo said. Further investigation into Tuesday's incident is underway, he added. And now for our world news, the UN Security Council will meet Thursday to discuss the situation in North Korea, Diplomats said, after Pyongyang said it tested a new hypersonic gliding missile, the latest apparent advance in the nuclear-armed nation's weapons technology. The meeting, organized at the request of the United States, Britain and France, is expected to take place Thursday morning behind closed doors, a diplomat told AFP, without saying if the talks were expected to result in the adoption of a joint statement. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Aranada Center, Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista, and you are watching Tribune News on Cue. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning!